Did you know that fast sloths exist? Well, maybe not in the real world, but they do exist in the new movie The Sloth Lane that dropped in cinemas on Valentine's Day. So let's talk about it. Hey, welcome back to the video. It's a brand new movie review. Today I'm talking all about the latest kids animated movie. It's called The Sloth Lane. It dropped in cinemas here in the UK on Feb 14th. Before we start talking about it, as always, just a friendly reminder, these are just my thoughts. Let's dictate whether or not you decide to go and see it. You might see it and feel totally differently to me, and that is okay because movies aren't made to cater for everyone. Without any further ado, let's start talking about it. And obviously, as always, like I've seen lots of films like this that are kiddie films, and I'm still not the target audience for this film. However, I am a huge, big kid. I'm just an inner child at heart, and I love seeing kids' films. I mean, I'd rather go and watch kids' films in the cinema than an 18+ horror movie. That's all I'm saying. And I went to go and check this one out because I had a spare couple of hours, and I thought I'd go and check it out because why not? I've got an unlimited card, I may as well go and see it. And I did, and you know what? This was a fun little film, and I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. I didn't really know too much about the film when I went to go and see it. I kind of didn't really have any inkling as to what this film was about. And actually had quite a nice plot. It had a nice storyline, a fun film. And I always say it, if I was a parent and I took my kids to go and see this film, would I be chuffed with it, or would I be a little bit like, oh, I've wasted my money? And with this film, I actually feel like I would be glad that I took my child to go and see this film because it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a fun little film for kids, and you know, it has its moments of comedy, but ultimately this film, I think the thing that I really liked about this film was it had quite a few messages within the film that was kind of teaching kids as they watched it, and it was just about, one of the big ones was just about loving everyone around you, loving your heritage, loving who you are as a person, your family, and you know what happened within your ancestors that eventually became you. Do you know, does that make sense? You know, your parents and your grandparents, and find out about their history and their past and their lives, and actually how important that is to who you are as a person. But it also delved into the idea of, obviously with age, people become a little bit more forgetful. And it did talk a little bit about actually just have a bit more time with these people. Just give them a little bit more of a chance, and remember that we're all only human. And you know what, like those sorts of messages, there's obviously quite a few more in there as well, but those sorts of things that they were trying to instill into kids through the likes of a film, I thought was actually quite genius. And it's quite nice because although it is a film that's here to entertain kids, it's actually doing a little bit more than that as well, which I really like. But it was fun, it was lively. Do you know, it is just, again, it's another kids film, and it's one of the better ones that I have seen. It's one of them that I feel like there's been a little bit more thought put into it. It's it's got really good animation, a nice runtime, and you know what? Me, not as the target audience for the film, not as a 5-year-old, actually really enjoyed this film as well. And believe it or not, I was not the only older person sat in the cinema screen by myself. There was about 6 of us in the screen. It was a very early showing of the film, and there was me, and then there was by myself obviously, and there was a few rows in front of me there was a family. I think there was 2 adults and a kid, and then just one row up to the right of me was a lady. She was about mid-40s, I'd say, sitting there watching the film by herself as well. So these films are obviously targeted towards kids, but actually, you don't have to be a kid to enjoy them or go and see them. So don't worry about feeling judged. If you're feeling, oh, I might be judged for going to see this film by myself, don't be. If I can do it, you can do it as well. So, but yeah, this is a fun film, essentially, so I've got to say, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm glad that I went to go and see it. Obviously, it's not one that I'm going to rush to rewatch again, just because again, it is a kids film. But I enjoyed it. It does what it says on the tin, and like I say, if I was a parent taking my kids to see this film, I would actually be quite glad that I took them to see this film. I wouldn't think I wasted my money. It was a solid, enjoyable film, and definitely one of the better kids' films that I've seen. And I've seen a good few in the cinema since having my pass. So there you go. That's what I've got to say on The Sloth Lane. It's in cinemas across the UK right now, and I believe it is in cinemas or theatres around the world as well. Some places around the world it's streaming, so check your local area because it might be streaming or in cinemas, so do have a quick look. Before I wrap up, as always, what do I rate it out of 10? And I'll be adding it to my DVD collection. Well, I'm giving this film a solid 5.5 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed this film. Like I say, it pleasantly surprised me. And if a film does that, It's done a good job. It's done a good job. And with that in mind, will I buy it on DVD? Well, as I said, the rewatchability of this film for me isn't very high. So no, I'm not planning on buying this film on DVD. However, I wouldn't say no to rewatching it at some point in the future, but it's not one that I want to have in my collection. So there you go. Like I say, Sloth Lane in cinemas across the UK right now, and in the description below, as there always is the movie plot, a link to the movie trailer, as well as a link to my movie review playlist. It features every single movie review that I've ever done. There's lots more to come very soon. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in another video, and hopefully another movie review very soon.